Hey folks, Malforian here. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're covering the last lifestyle tree in Crusader Kings. We're doing the learning lifestyle, and as I've said in the previous videos, we're just going to talk about it, go through the different bonuses, kind of see which ones we like, we dislike, and then try to think of any improvements we could do on the trees as well. And then just let me know in the comments, where do you use these trees, where don't you? Just a little guide, if you're new to the game, maybe you'll get some ideas of where you can use these trees. At the end of 2022, we've also got new content coming next year, so some of these trees may change, but at this point in the game, this is what they get with the launch, well, after the launch of Fate of Iberia. So if you are playing on consoles, you will be missing little bits here and there, nothing crazy changed to be honest, and mostly around languages and things, so it won't be like crazy different for you, even if you don't have Fate of Iberia. But yeah, we're just going to talk through them, and yeah, we'll see what we think about the learning lifestyle. So as always, we're going to cover the focuses first. So the first one is medicine focus, +1 learning, small health bonus. Scholarship focus, +3 learning, +15% development growth. And then theology focus, +1 learning, +1 piety a month. I'll be honest, I think all of these are pretty good. The medicine one's probably the one I take the least, probably, just because if I am trying to do like health boosts, I just go down whole of body anyway. And as we'll see, this helps you with disease and health stuff so much. I don't think the small health boost from this is that useful, although it is still useful. Scholarship, I think, is the one I take the most, just because the 15% development growth is just really good if you are, a realm that can increase their development. So I think that's the one I generally take the most. And then theology, if you do need piety, if you are trying to reform your religion, if you are trying to found a holy order or something like that, the +1 a month doesn't sound like a lot, but it does add up, and it is affected by modifiers, I believe. So theology is useful. So all these are pretty good. I'd say medicine's probably the worst, just because it's kind of generic, whereas the other two have defined places to help. And like I say, the small health boost is kind of superseded by the bonuses you get here anyway, although it does still help, so it's not the worst. Anyway, we'll do a whole of body first. Anatomical studies, a core physician costs less to hire. Core physicians' retreatments have better outcomes. Whole of body is all about just making you live longer. So, this is good. If you go through a lot of court physicians, it's just cheaper to hire them. They do get quite expensive, to be honest, so it's not too bad. And then the treatments have better outcomes. It just makes your court physicians better. Who could complain about that? Carefree, -20% stress gain. Not a direct good thing, but it does, it does help with your health, I suppose, if you have a lot of stressful decisions. Time between mental breaks +3 years. This is quite good because I believe this allows you to basically go up and down the stress tier without it triggering the mental break events, which is useful because generally the mental break events give you, a negative modifier and some other stuff. So this just allows you to kind of go up and down a little bit more. Obviously, I think it still affects your health, so you don't want to be doing it too much, but obviously the other things help you anyway with that. But this is okay. It's not too crazy. I don't think the left-hand side. Restraint, you can take the embrace celibacy and abandon celibacy decisions. This is actually low-key awesome if you're under like Confederate partition or something, because you could in theory just have one child. It's risky because if the child dies, you have no heir. But, or even if you have two children, then you can embrace celibacy. To be honest, if the kid dies, you can just abandon it and just go back to having children. But this allows you to kind of like, get around the partition a little bit, stops you having too many children if you want to kind of focus on a few. So it's actually quite good. Know thyself, when death of natural causes is 1 year away, you will receive a warning. This is actually really, really good. I find if you have elective succession, this is actually really good, mostly as a reminder. So when you see the notification, you think, oh, I'll go and make sure that the right people are getting elected, the right son is getting elected, because you do sometimes not get the notification that it's only if somebody outside of your dynasty is going to be elected that you generally get the warning to tell you like, oh, something bad's going to happen. I've had it where the votes change right near the end. Like my third son has become the king and I end up playing as a vassal of him or something like that. So Know Thyself is actually quite good, mainly for the reminder that it gives you to check your succession. But it's probably useful for other things as well. Obviously, the other bonus for this is if you have the Invade Kingdom, you can only do once per lifestyle. If you are thinking, I haven't really got anywhere to use it. If you know you're going to die within a year, you think, well, I might as well use it because I lose it when I die, obviously. And then you can kind of get 2, in theory, from your next character, because if you die straight away, your next character inherits the war you're already in, and then still can do an invade kingdom themselves as well. So it's actually quite useful in areas that you might not think of it in ways like that. Reduce the chance of contracting illnesses and reduce the chance of courtiers of contracting illnesses. This is okay. I kind of feel like this would have been better at the end of CK2, where you had like the Black Death and things like that, massive illness events, which you don't generally have. I think you get, what's this, smallpox? Or do you have the bubonic plague? Oh no, you can get the bubonic plague event, but it's pretty rare, and you don't get like the big swathe of it like you used to in CK2 if you ever played, where it just wipe out like half the map. Yes, this is okay. Again, it's kind of one of you pick and forget that you picked it, really. And Constitution, this is obviously really good. 30% more fertility from disease. I think that's diseases that reduce your fertility. This prevents it happening as much. And then disease resistance from health, massive boost. You get a massive health boost from disease. When you have a disease, it doesn't affect you as much. And then healthy just gives you a medium boost to health. Your character's more likely to live longer. And then you get whole of body, which gives you plus 20% fertility, medium boost to health, and 20% stress gain modifier. So again, so you have 2 medium boosts. If you took this, you'd also have a small boost. So you have 2 mediums and a small. You have a lot of events as well, which generally give you health boosts as well. So you can live a long time. We've got Heisteen here in the corner. If you ever played Heisteen or just watch him, he can live to like over 100 years old sometimes, because he has all these whole of body modifiers and other modifiers where he just lives forever unless he gets killed in battle, basically. So or intrigued to death. So yeah, if you want a character that lives a long time, this is quite good to take. You can do basically the choices that they have here and then move to a different tree, and basically you'll live a long time, so then you can really focus on the other things. So whole of body is just a great default. If you're unsure how you want to play a character, or you've got a plan and you think, okay, I've got to get it done during this character's life, going down whole of body is great because it gives you so much longer. Unless, like say, you can just be unlucky and an event kills you, but that natural death is going to be held off for quite a while. The next tree is Scholar. I'm not even going to try to pronounce this name, this word. Your wards can get additional skills and become your friends. Learn language scheme, chance success, 25%. Like I say, here's where they've just thrown in a language thing. It is what it is. But your wards can get additional skills is great and become your friends. You can get friends naturally. If you're playing in Iberia with the struggle and some of the phases, that can actually be like really OP for moving the bar. Because there's one, I think it's reconciliation, where you get progress from making a friend. So this can actually help you move that bar if you want to. A lot easier, just by default, really. Open-minded. Now, this is where there's some really good bonuses in Scholar. Plus 15 different culture opinion. So different cultures don't dislike you off the bat as much. Cultural acceptance chance, plus 20%. Again, just helps you with cultural stuff. And you can learn 2 additional languages without any penalties. Again, if you're playing the language game, that just helps, obviously. And then apostate, different faith opinion, plus 15. And then one of the biggest reasons, if you did want to convert, is to go down this tree, is 75% cheaper faith conversion cost, which if you are planning on converting and you don't want to, encounter it through an event, which can be free or quite cheap, this makes it super cheap to convert faith if you want to. But again, the different faith modifier plus the different culture modifier, if you're playing a realm that is quite spread out, if you're playing, I find, especially in like Eastern Europe, where there's a lot of different cultures, obviously in the rest of the map there is, I just generally, from my recent games, that's where I'm thinking of, there's a lot of different cultures kind of in a short space in the map. This can help, because obviously your vassals and stuff have less of a negative against you for being the wrong culture or religion. Wrong cultural religion. And then scientific, cultural fascination plus 35%. This is really good. This is one I always take first. I think if I played any learning lifestyle, I'll nearly always take scientific first. Especially if I'm in charge of my culture. Even if I'm not, it's quite good. I'm not actually sure. Does it affect if you're not head of your culture? I've no idea. Someone let me know in the comments down below. I've never thought about it actually till now, because generally you are the head of your culture, but if you're not, does this take effect? I guess maybe it does anyway. No, I guess it mustn't, because otherwise it could stack from everyone in that culture having it. So I guess you've got to be head of culture. Again, somebody let me know in the comments if I'm wrong, because I don't want to be wrong, but I imagine it only affects if you're head of culture. Anyway, it helps your fascination progress. If you're trying to focus on a certain tech, this allows you to do it a lot faster, and it's just so good, I think. Bonus that it gives. Planned cultivation, increased development county efficiency plus 20. Again, this one's really good. It just helps you increase your development a lot. 20% more is really good. It really helps you build up your lands. And then scholarly circles, learning per level of devotion +2. If you're playing, a very learning-focused character, you get a lot of extra learning just from being high level of devotion. But again, you can be a learning character and not be a devout character. So it is kind of, it's not a definite take, but it is quite good. Learning on the job, 20% of counselors' primary skills get added to your own. This is awesome. You generally have really good counselors and their skills just get added to yours. So, if they've got 10 martial and it's their primary skill, if they're your martial and they have 10 martial, they give you 2 martial. So this is actually really good. This is such a good bonus, to be honest. And then sanction loopholes, you can buy claim interaction. You just buy a claim for a title that you're after if you can. And then the last one is scholar, +5 learning. So you end up with a lot of learning if you play as a scholar character. And then development growth +15. So again, this is another one, as we've discussed in previous videos, where this is kind of tied in a little bit to stewardship, because you do get that development growth twice in this. You get the 15% from here, and then increase development and counter efficiency +20, and then you get another, was it 15? No, another 10. No, another 15 from here. So you got 30%, plus if you were focusing on that with your counsel, it'd be even more bonus, and then scheme chance. So again, kind of a little bit of intrigue in here as well. So this scholar bonus is actually quite good, especially if, like I say, if you're trying to either catch up with development or just kind of, rocket to the moon. It is really good. So take that one. And then Theologian is the last one. This is all about religion itself. So faithful, clergy opinion +10. I mean, it's all right. It's just +10. It's nothing crazy. It's not as good as this. Better than this. So yeah, I guess it's all right. But +10. I mean, it does help your, if your court chaplain doesn't like you, if you're not endorsed by them, it is actually quite a severe penalty for your gold production generally. So this will help you sometimes just make sure they like you, so which is good. Zealous Processlizer, definitely how you pronounce that word. Convert faith in county progress speed +25%. This is actually really good because converting faith can sometimes take forever, so 25% faster is great, especially if you're going for one of the achievements that requires you to convert places, like Vladimir's second chance or choice, the Mother of Us All Africa one, or the Iberian Inquisition, I think, achievement. There's probably more, but they're the 3 that come off the top of my head, which require you to convert places. This is obviously fantastic for it. And then religious icon, convert faith in county is no longer affected by fervor. So again, that will reduce the cost of, the time to convert somewhere. And then profit, monthly piety per night, 1%. If you're needing piety and you have, 10 nights, that's 10% more piety. And then faith creation and reformation costs -50%. If you are at all, this one's probably the most well-known perk, if you're playing any kind of religious campaign, is reforming your cult. If you're playing as an unreformed an unreformed religion, you should always be doing this, because it just makes reformation or creation just so much cheaper. Like, so 50% cheaper is a lot, because sometimes some of the reformations and creations are like, I don't know, 6,000 piety, and it makes it 3,000. It's just so ludicrously good. If you're wanting to reform or create a faith, you just have to go for this. It's just insane not to. And also, you get the additional piety to help you get to that point as well. But yeah, profit is just so good. If you're an unreformed faith, like, you should be taking this anytime you do any reformation, or even if you're playing a normal faith, a reformed faith, it's also good for the same thing if you want to. Religious relations efficiency +20% is okay. Basically make the council task be better, so I guess the Pope will like you more and things like that. If you're playing Catholics, you can get more money out of him and maybe get claims from him and things like that. So it's okay. Actually, I think it also gives you piety, so it probably affects that as well. Actually, I'd have to look. Church and state +50 for your realm priest opinion, even if I can talk properly today. Again, this one's quite good because it obviously makes sure your realm priest likes you more, which again, as I said before, if they don't like you, they give you less gold and stuff like that. So, and obviously the church has a lot of gold, so gold making. So yeah, you definitely want him on your side. And then radiant, level of devotion impact +100%. Is just awesome. If you have high levels of devotion level, the modifiers you get from that can be really, really good for, obviously Catholic. If you're playing Catholic or other Catholic characters, the modifier will be 100% better. So it's quite a nice bonus. And then Defender of the Faith, diplomacy per level of devotion +1, and monthly piety 20%. Again, if you need piety from something, an amazing boost to it. And then also, like we've said with the other trees, this gives you more diplomacy. So it's nice to see it linked to a different tree than this one. And it gives you diplomacy, so people are going to like you more. So if you're playing, again, I'm just going to say a Catholic country just because I'm thinking of like the HRE or somewhere. People will like you more because you are the same religion as them, and your level of devotion will make them like you more anyway. And then you have 100% better at that. And this also boosts your diplomacy, and diplomacy makes people like you more. So you can get really high. This is actually really good, sneaky good at getting vassalization for free from people, because if they're the same religion as you, you can have such crazy opinion modifiers from this tree that they will just willingly vassalize to you and then immediately declare independence. But yeah, that's a discussion for another day. And plus 20% piety obviously just gives you more piety, which is great. And then Theologian, this is the last one, guys, in the last video on this series. So plus 3 learning, plus 20% more monthly piety. Wait, so does this also give you 20? It's kind of wild. This gives you 20, and then this also gives you 20. Yeah, it does. That's kind of wild, actually. I don't think I've ever noticed that before, and I go down this tree quite often. But yeah, 20% and then another 20%. It's wild that they're right next to each other. So yeah, you can get a lot of piety from this. So like I say, if you're doing decisions that require piety, founding holy orders, obviously reforming faiths. There's other things as well that require piety. Some wars can require piety if they're against, the same religion as you and things like that. So Theologian is awesome. I kind of feel like, again, I think we talked about this at the end of the stewardship tree. I do think some of these final abilities that give you the trait or the perk should do something else, because a lot of these are just more of the same. So this just gives you more health. This one just gives you more piety. Scholar kind of... Scholar is not too bad because it gives you bonuses in other areas of the game that isn't just learning. But I kind of feel like whole of body, I don't know what it... Like we've discussed at the end of the stewardship one is maybe like a one-off event that's special to this that triggers something. Maybe you can have like a... I don't know, like a... The next child you have is a wonder child, and you can specialize that child somehow, and they'll just be really good at that one thing. I know that kind of gets out of realism, but I think it'd be cool if these end abilities had something else that happened to them. So like Theologian, I don't know, maybe you finish the Theologian tree and you can trigger like a heresy somewhere. Like you could say, oh, pick a realm and it triggers a heresy in 5 of their counters or something. Again, it probably not that. That sounds like way OP. But I think something like that. You probably get what I'm thinking of. Just something where you get an event for finishing a tree that makes it really stand out that you finished that tree. Because Theologian, like 20% more piety is fantastic. Plus 3 learning is really good. But it's just more of the same. And it's not like, wow, I've got plus 3 more learning. The game's going to change a lot for me. It'd be cool if there was like a special event that happened. And like I say, just something like that. That's just off the top of my head. Maybe something where like you could spread a heresy to a certain realm, or set up an anti-pope if you wanted to in your own realm, or just something where you get it and you'd be like, wow, that's awesome. Scholar, maybe you could pick another language and you just immediately learn it, or you just get a crazy bonus of some, you could found a university for free somewhere in your realm. And then whole of body, like I say, just something crazy, like, I don't know, you become immune to death for 5 years if you got to the supernatural stage of the game or something in the future. Just something where you're like, oh wow, that's different, and something crazy's happened because I did that. So anyway, let me know if you've got any ideas. Throw them in down below. It'd be cool to talk about if you've got any ideas along that line. But that's it, guys. That's all 5 trees. Maybe in the future we'll get a 6th tree. I don't think we will, because they obviously kind of match all the other abilities and stuff in the game. But it'd be cool if we did get one, even if it was like an amalgamation one, like a generic tree. Although I guess, nah, we probably won't see that. But, that's all 5. I've discussed them. Like I say, I have ranked them before in a video. It was about 1.5 years ago, but I will link it in the description down below so you can talk about my rankings of them at the time. They've changed a little bit probably since then, but I think they're probably around about the same. But yeah, we can leave it there for today. So if you hit that like button if you've enjoyed it. If you're new here, I cover Crusader Kings, I do narrative campaigns, and I play other strategy games on the channel. But for now, we're going to leave it there, and I'll see you in the next one.